All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's interview. We have Tiffany King with us today, who I'm so excited for. As you have been noticing the past month or so, I've been sharing my meal plans, and most of them are right from her system here. I have her cookbook, and just going to read a little bio so you know a little bit about her before we jump right in. So it says you've cooked more than 10,000 meals for your husband and 4 kids. And over the years, you've learned what works and what doesn't work for getting dinner on the table fast. Your recipes have been developed in a real kitchen for busy families and tested by millions of readers on your website, Eat at Home. Also demonstrates cooking techniques through weekly live videos and on your popular Facebook page. And when you're not cooking, find you curled up with a good book. Anything else you'd want to add to that?
I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah, I will admit to not doing the live videos as much anymore. I've been preferring curling up with a good book.
I completely understand that for sure. And just for how I came about finding this program and meeting Tiffany is for Mother's Day. My mom, they were running a deal, and it was like a 3-month kind of Mother's Day special, and she gave it to me as a gift and just said, you need this. Quit doing whatever else you're doing and just do this. And I listened to my mom, and so I just started looking through her website and just falling in love with it. And loved it so much, I contacted her and wanted to share all of her wisdom with all of you. So without further ado, I would just welcome you. And if you could share a little bit of how this program came to be, we'd love to know.
Yeah, I started my food blog, Eat at Home, 11 years ago.
Okay.
Almost exactly, actually. It was in October, 11 years ago. And I just wanted to share recipes, and dinner is one of those things that I can do. Like lots of other things I'm not great at, but dinner is one that I can do. So I kind of felt like I would be able to tap into problems that we all have. Yeah. And how to solve those, because that's something that I had been able to figure out. So that's how it started. And then I shared recipes, just purely recipes, for 3 or 4 years, and decided, I could make this a more complete problem-solving system if I put it together in a meal plan. Because, we've all done it, where it's almost dinner time and we walk into the kitchen with no idea, and you stare into your pantry and hope something's going to pop out. And I know what that feels like. And you've got kids around you, begging for food. It's not the most ideal situation. So having a meal plan, though, puts it all together, makes it possible to get dinner done so that we can move on to the other things in life.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I had mentioned this before we started recording. In your cookbook, your table of contents made me laugh out loud. It is just one of my favorite things, because I'm like, oh, yes. So some of the titles is like, I only have 15 minutes tonight. My refrigerator is empty tonight. Everyone's on a different schedule tonight, and I have 4 kids as well. And so I'm just like, woman, you are talking to my soul. This is me. You are writing my life right here. How did you come up with those different topics, or how did you come up with those headings?
Well, just life, that is what happens to all of us. And I had figured out over time, over cooking all those dinners, that there were certain things that fit really well for certain situations. So if you only have 15 minutes tonight, that's a day you probably never even thought about the slow cooker in the morning. That's not, right. It's way too late for that. Yep. You have to have something different. So yeah, just kind of coming up with those common problems that we all have, especially when your kids get into the teen years and they've got their own schedules. Everybody's eating at a different time, and the things that used to work don't work anymore. Or maybe you're driving somebody somewhere. Mm-hmm. That happens, and it's hard to cook dinner when you're not there. It's possible, but you have to have a specific strategy for that.
Yes. And that is exactly my life right now. My daughter she turned 15 today, actually. So we're in that 15, 13, 11, and 6 mode of life where you're right. I'm just running here and there and everywhere. And what worked in the past, it's not working anymore. And so this has been such a blessing. So thank you so much for that. And when I'm just kind of looking at some things that we had talked about, how do you think that the meal planning piece and just having that plan helps with your mental health?
Oh my goodness. There's so many decisions that we have to make, especially as women and, running a household. It's just, it's never ending. And those decisions just get thrown at you all day long. And by the time you get to the end of the day, you've already made thousands of decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I think by some estimates, 35,000 decisions in a day or something crazy.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know who counted that up. That's sort of insane. But you're pretty depleted, or I am, by the time I get to the end. So just for mental health, to know that your dinner is taken care of, you know what it's going to be, or you've already got it in the slow cooker, or you have your freezer meal, or whatever that is. That's great. It saves a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and I don't think sometimes people maybe piece together how that planning piece and your mental health are so connected, because like you said, we are making so many decisions and putting out fires and running around, and just knowing that one thing of what am I going to not only eat but feed my family is huge.
It is huge. And that's one of the things that we're providing for everybody in our family, right? Is that they know that when they get hungry at the end of the day, there's going to be dinner for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they may ask us what it is, but they know it's going to be there. But nobody's providing that for us, right?
Right.
But having a plan is kind of a way to provide that for your future self a little bit.
Absolutely.
So that you're taking care of yourself while you're taking care of these other people.
Yeah, and that goes perfectly into that next question, is how do you think meal planning helps with self-care? I mean, that was a perfect little segue there. Is there anything else that you'd want to add in about self-care when it comes to meals or just in general?
Yeah, I think I tell women a lot of times, don't make this too hard for yourself. Like, it does not have to be a gourmet meal.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be, the end all be all of health. We need it to be healthy and good, but we also need it to be quick and easy. And those things, it is possible to hit that sweet spot. And that is good for us, And of course, eating the healthy food, eating at home more than you're eating out, that's definitely good for all of us as far as self-care goes. Building in those kinds of foods that make us feel good. But just realizing you don't have to have a perfectly set table. You don't have to have matching dishes. You don't even have to use real dishes if you don't want to. Look, you do what works for you, whatever that is. Those are some ways I think we can kind of take care of ourselves in that process.
I love it, because I think a lot of us, I know me for sure, that perfection gets in the way of so much, where I feel like it has to be a certain way, and even with our schedules, like what worked in the past was we could all eat at one time and have this family meal, and that's not, I have to let that go. My season is just different right now. And I loved that, because sometimes I don't want to clean dishes too. So just giving yourself permission to not have it be a certain way is huge. So I love that. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. And I think I can share here. I have my login up. Let's see if other people can see that. Are you able to see that on your end? Okay, awesome. So I'm just logged in, and this is just like a regular customer. And this is where I go on Fridays to kind of help me get a game plan. I plan out Friday to Friday because that's what works best in my schedule. And this is just kind of the homepage. And this was you have 4 different meal plans, and this was such a big deal to me, and I didn't realize how big of a deal it was until I saw my options. You want to explain the 4 different types a little bit more and kind of how you came up with them?
Yeah, the traditional plan, that was the one we started with. So it's got the most variety. You'll find some prepackaged kinds of ingredients that we work into meals. We do include a slow cooker recipe in that plan and a 15-minute meal every single week. We make sure that we hit both of those, because then no matter what kind of day you have, somewhere in your week, you're probably going to need one or the other of those kinds of recipes. So that's what that one is. The wholesome plan is kind of like the traditional plan, but we, instead of using some of the prepackaged things, we give you homemade options, and we try to steer clear of some of the more some of the processed things that you might find in the traditional plan. I still think the traditional plan is good, but if people are trying to eat more and more whole foods, and that might not be your plan if you're into that. For instance, it uses like canned cream soups and some things like that. The wholesome plan, we steer clear of those things. And then the slow cooker Instant Pot plan is kind of self-explanatory. Everything can be done in the slow cooker. Most of the recipes will also work in an Instant Pot, and we give directions for both of those things. So if it will work in the Instant Pot, you're going to get those directions. Not everything will, just because of the liquid requirements. Instant Pot has to have enough liquid to come to pressure, or your food won't cook. So that's why not everything is, for the Instant Pot as well. And then the no flour, no sugar plan is our newest plan. And that's just kind of upping that nutrition level again. It's not a carb-free plan. We use potatoes. We use some of those vegetables and things that have more carbs on them. We'll use corn tortillas sometimes on that plan. But it does give a really nice place if you need to cut out gluten, or you are trying to cut out carbs. That's a really good plan. Or if you just kind of want to have a lighter week of meals, that one's a nice one to go to as well.
Yeah, I love that. And then it's organized so well, where you have like the 15 minutes, you can make ahead of time, and then that little symbol for slow cooker Instapot as well. And then we have in Minnesota, we have what's called MEA week, and it's like Minnesota Education Association week. And what that means for everyone else except for educators is short work week, short school week, and a longer weekend. And so on my MEA plan, which is next week, you have the freezer meals that can be assembled in an hour. And I've been like counting down the weeks, like, I can't wait to make my freezer meals, because I just think that it's just such a nice blessing, either to have those meals just ready to go, or when that life happens to somebody else, it's just a way of service that I can give them, a chili or a lasagna, and they don't have to cook that night. And so I'm just so thankful you have thought of that as well.
Yeah, those, I like to use those as my emergency stash. Those,
absolutely.
They can keep you out of the drive-through for sure.
Yes. And then I'll just click on, so the newest one here is October. And how it's kind of nice because you can use this in so many different ways. You can just pick one of the plans that you mentioned before. And so I'm forgetting, what is the red plan? Is that
it's the no flour, no sugar?
The no flour, no sugar. So you could either just, go with that plan and just print it out and there you go. And I have a family of 6, so I love that you have it tweaked. You can either do the large plan of the 6 to 8 servings or the smaller plan. And then when you click on the tabs up above, it just changes. Now these are all different. You can stick with that meal plan if you want. I use it a little bit differently than that, just because I don't know, I just like looking at the different options. And for me, on a Monday, I usually eat more loosely on the weekend. So Monday is like my, okay, girl, it's Monday. And I almost always just go right to the salad. And so I go the salad on Mondays, and that's just what I'm doing as kind of my healthy restart kind of in my plan. And then Wednesdays for us are confirmation church nights. So Wednesday, I always have a slow cooker Instapot meal. And so I'll go to the next one and I'll look like, ooh, what looks good this week for slow cooker? And then that's what I put on my Wednesday. And then let's see, what is the orange? Is this the traditional?
This is the traditional.
Okay.
I did, you know, when you look at your own website, you take so much for granted. So this is great to watch you go through this. I'm realizing that our titles have somewhere along the way got taken off. So I'm going to get those back on there.
Yeah, no, that's just, but the traditional is usually what we always have on Fridays, because usually there's nothing going on like individual kids, it's family time. So like if the weather holds up, we would all go to the football game together. So it's kind of more of that family. So that's how, this is just my Friday meal. And then this was kind of the more wholesome one, right? The less processed. And so this is kind of where I would go and plug in and see, okay, which one of these fits for our Tuesday schedule, which one kind of fits for our Thursday schedule. And so that's how I use it, just going off of our schedule, but you certainly can just take all the thinking out and just click on one. So like if I were to click on this one, I'm hoping, did the screen change for you?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So then you have your meals here at the top, and and feel free to stop me if you have something to add on here. But one of the things I just love is that everything is color coded. And so let's say I did not want to do like, we don't have a lot of fish lovers, so the salmon, everything that's purple on your grocery list would be that salmon recipe. So all I would need to do is just cross off the purple, and that's it. And it just makes shopping so easy because everything is right there, organized. You know what you need to buy, you know what you're going to make, and it's done. And it's just that one page. Like that's all it is for your groceries. Anything else you want to add to that at all?
On that, the little numbers,
Yeah.
if you print it in black and white, then, you know, obviously it's not in color, but those little numbers still help you keep track of what ingredient goes with which meal. So that's kind of nice. And then I anymore will just open it in one tab and have my Walmart order up in another, or Kroger, if, you know, whatever your grocery store is that does online ordering with store pickup. Yeah. And in about 10 minutes, I can have all of this loaded and anything else I might need. It is so much faster than how I used to shop, especially when I had to take kids into the store.
Yes, me too. And I use Instacart here, and I do the same thing. I'll have one tab open and it's just click, 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 click. And once you use that online shopping enough, it kind of remembers what you get. So I'm like, yep, I do need milk. I do need eggs, you know, kind of those random items. But I did not ever think about, I just loved the color concept so much. I never even thought about the black and white. So that's really cool that you can still see all those things without it. That's awesome. And then I think, so here is the slow cooker example. And it does have, you know, the slow cooker version and the Instapot version, which I love because, again, sometimes like if I'm on my A game, you know, one might work better than the other. But I love that. And then the serving suggestions, I have really loved that too, because I'm pretty good at like thinking of a protein, but my sides then aren't always the best choices. So like sometimes with sloppy joes, my brain goes right to chips or it goes right to tater tots. And I think
Yeah.
that you do such a great job of helping those sides be healthy as well. It just takes the thinking and the pressure, it's off, like you kind of
Yes.
did before.
And the sides are included in the grocery list. That's what you're going to find in those curly brackets.
Okay.
So that's the point of those curly brackets is that's a side dish item. And so if you're going to make a different side, you won't need that.
Okay.
But it just kind of designates it a little bit.
Yeah. So that first recipe, it had the slow cooker pork and broccoli stir fry, and then the brown rice is the side. And so I just think that's so nice that it's all just right there for you. And those desserts are thrown in, which is kind of like, ooh, haven't had caramel apple pie and vanilla ice cream. Sounds just heavenly. So it's not, you know, I just think that little variety is the spice of life there. So just thankful that it's organized, it's easy. And if you look at even the ingredients, sometimes I know, like when I'm looking at more healthier recipes, I'm like, I have no idea what this ingredient is, where to find it, how to chop it up, do you chop it up, how to cook it. And looking through, you know, the recipes and the ingredients, it's, I mean, 90% of it you are going to be familiar with. You're going to know what it is. You're going to know how to use it. And I just really appreciate that. And the directions are concise. They're simple. Everything is kind of right there for you.
Good. That's great to hear. That is exactly what we're going for. I want every plan to use common ingredients that you can find in any grocery store, that you probably have many of them in your kitchen already, even if you're running low. I don't want people to have to make a special trip to the store. I want things to be, you know, substitute where you need to. We're all way too busy to, on a regular Tuesday night, be searching down some obscure ingredients. You don't have, save that for some fun cooking session. Exactly. For sure. But yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and is there anything else that you would want to share or point out when it comes to the website piece of it?
Two things that you may or may not know. If you click those little forks on the those, then a picture pops up.
I didn't know that.
It's so hidden, and it kind of hurts me because I load those pictures in every month and I think, I don't even know if anybody's seeing these or not, but there they are. So that's
great.
That's one kind of fun thing. And the other is brand new on the menu bar up there on the left, and that green, there's a search function. Okay. We're getting ready to announce it finally on Friday for all of our members. So if you want to search any recipe that you've ever used, you'll be able to find it. So if you've used a recipe, you can't remember what plan it came from.
Can it be just general? Like if I type in pizza, would it?
Yeah, it should come up with,
I gotta spell it right here.
With whatever pizza recipes we may have. And it is a work in progress. We're going to be adding recipes as we go, but I think we have about 900 recipes so far. So it's a lot. And this is just members only. And then when you click one of those, it'll take you to the recipe.
Awesome.
And you'll get your recipe for the large family at the top. And then if you keep scrolling, you'll see the edited one for the small family. Yes. And they've got nutrition info, and I'm really proud of this. I've had a whole team of people working all summer long, and we got down to getting that search bar added, and the tech guys were not as problem solving as I wish they were. I had to bring in another tech person to get it done. But so
Love
yeah,
that
I'm really excited
technology.
about this.
Oh, this is great. And so now, I haven't really seen a lot of repeats, but for you have your cookbook as well. And I
Mhm.
think so. The reason I typed in pizza was because I'm so excited because tomorrow, we're having I have it tabbed right here, the Chicago pizza pot pie.
Yes, I love that.
Is that so? Are your cookbook recipes exclusive to cookbook, or is there a little bit of crossover?
There is a little bit of
Okay.
crossover, but not much.
Okay.
When I did the cookbook, I think we did maybe 10 recipes that were kind of fan favorites from the
Sure.
blog. Um, yeah, so, and then the meal plans have a lot more recipes on it than the blog does. And they're edited differently. They're just a little bit different. So that's kind of the difference between the blog and the meal plans as well.
Sure. And that's
Yeah.
so great to know because one of the things that I loved about the cookbook was, the pictures. And so now that I know I can see the pictures on your site, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's very
Yes.
cool.
I need to make that a lot more obvious for folks. Yeah.
Well, and it could be something that I have just missed too. Because I was just so excited about the colors and the organization. I might have missed that part somewhere. Um, and I know one thing too that I did this summer. Let's see. Hopefully, are you still seeing my screen turn? Do you
Hmm.
okay, perfect.
Yes.
So this was something I can't remember when I got this. But it was all the different breakfast plans. And this looks like it's geared towards spring and summer. Do you have like a fall and winter one in the
We
works?
do have a fall and winter one. And that's a good reminder to let people know where they can find that. And matter of fact, I don't know if I put that, I don't think it's on this page. I need to make that super clear and obvious for folks. But yeah, we have a fall and winter one, and they are a little bit, the breakfast plans do go a little bit seasonally. Um,
Sure.
so yeah, I
And
mean, not that you can't eat spring and summer
right.
breakfast in the winter, you can, but
um,
we try to keep it a little bit more seasonal.
One of the things I love too about how this was organized was you had a fruit of the week and a meat of the week. And I just thought from a shopping perspective, that's just genius. It's just making the most of your resources. And I thought that was really cool. And so sometimes if I didn't, I don't know why I like to make things harder than they need to be. Like instead of just doing this week one, I would be like, oh, what meat am I looking for? Sausage? And like, oh no, I want bacon. And so then I would look at, that meat of the week or whatever it was, and then that would help me kind of plan out what I was making. So I really liked that, how that was organized. And if you look at week 2 here, yeah, so now it's chicken sausage and pineapple and how you're using those two things throughout the week. So I thought that was just a great way to think about breakfast differently because I know breakfast is something that I usually eat the same. Like you would usually have 2 eggs and a little bit of salsa and just that's all that I would have. And this
Mhm.
was like, oh, I'm gonna do coconut chocolate chip muffins. Like I just felt it just opened up my horizons a little bit. So that's very fun.
Yeah, the breakfast plans are fun that way. I tend to be the same where I'll just eat the same thing every day for 6 months or
Yes.
a year, and I'm fine with that. But every once in a while, it's nice to have something different. And we do have members who do like a lot more variety in their breakfast. So that's why we rolled this out. But I wanted it again to be simple because, mornings are busy. So
Absolutely.
all of this is very simple and easy, and if you want to do breakfast for dinner, we'll work for dinner too.
I was just gonna say, I love breakfast on Saturdays. We usually do, the pancakes or the French toast or whatever. But a lot of times my kids will ask for that for dinner too. And this is just such a great resource to look at things that I might not have thought of that can be just as easy and quick and nutritious to make. So just love having that resource there. So yeah,
Right.
thank you.
Great.
Anything else that you can think of when it comes to the website piece of it, or even the cookbook part?
I would say just no matter what you're using for your meal plans, think about your day and try to get a recipe that's going to fit into your day versus having, all your recipes planned out and then try and fit your day into your recipe. Because that's where we get hung up a lot of times. If, like I said, if you're driving across town at 5 o'clock, probably a complicated recipe that takes an hour to make is not for you that day. But when you sat down on Sunday afternoon, you might have thought, oh, that sounds really good. But we sometimes set ourselves up for failure without meaning to. Just so thinking about your calendar and then fitting a recipe in there is the best way to go for that.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And I think you have a sale coming up, right? Is that next week?
Next week, yeah. So it's on the annual plan only,
Okay.
and which is the best deal because it's just cheaper than paying by the month. And if you save, I think, what is it, like $58 or $59 on sale? So you skip eating out one time, maybe two, depending on your family size and what you usually spend. You've already paid for that. And yeah, I can pretty much guarantee it'll help you skip eating out at least once in a year.
Oh my gosh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will definitely be promoting that sale. I don't have my calendar in front of me. I think it's next like Wednesday to Friday. Does that sound right?
I think it may be Tuesday to
Okay.
Thursday. I think it's the 15th through the 17th.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll look at that a little bit closer here as it gets going. But if you have any questions about either how this works or anything about the cookbook, just reach out and let me know or let Tiffany know, and one of us can get back to you for sure on any questions that you have. I do have some samples. Tiffany is just so gracious enough to offer some sample meal plans, so I can share those again as well. And another thing I need to kind of dig into more is you also have, I think, is it like an Instapot school course that you offer?
Yes.
Do you want to talk
Yes.
about that at all?
Yeah, so a lot of us have bought Instant Pots and some of us have not gotten them out of box yet or barely. So I started hearing that from my audience and decided to teach how to get it out of the box and get it on your counter and start using it. So the Instant Pot School is free to sign up, and I know you've got a link for them for that. And it will walk you through 4 lessons of literally, I show in the video how to get it out of the box, what all of the parts are, how to put it together. And then we make some things like rice and macaroni and cheese, and you get a whole Instant Pot meal plan, which looks just like what you just saw with the color coding and all, but it's completely designed to go in the Instant Pot. Yeah, so it's a really helpful thing. The Instant Pot saves me a ton. I use it a lot.
Yes. We every Wednesday, that's just what it is, because we're zinging in from football and we got to eat and get to church, and it's just, everybody knows it's Wednesdays, it's Instapot day. And so, and even on Sundays, I usually kind of like to do kind of a soup or something like that, and it's just so helpful. And it's funny because my husband is scared of Instapot when you have to like go from sealed to, like steaming.
Yes.
He and I'm just like, oh, for Pete's sakes, you maybe need to go to Instapot school, because the little knob that you turn to let the steam out, it's so worth it, honey. Just so there's just so many wonderful resources that Tiffany has for you. And if you have any questions on the Instapot school or the free meal plans or the annual plan or the cookbook or anything else, just let us know and we would be happy to help. Did you have any last parting things you'd want to share at all?
I think that's it. I just hope that people are able to have dinner with their family and make it easy so that you can concentrate on being together instead of trying to get your dinner done.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So, well, thank you so much for your time. It is so appreciated. And with that being said, we'll just sign off for today. So, hope you are all having a great day and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody.